T-Dog, J-Boy, and me, I'm Lugs. Our pride and joy is pumping our mugs. Be careful, kids, it could get rough. We're flipping our lids on sports and other stuff. Welcome to Sport Weasel Central. I'm Lugs.
I'm J-Boy.
I'm T-Dog.
Yes, sir, fellas. You know, it's almost Easter, and I got this in my church bulletin. Maybe it was in yours, too. Easter Sunday, Miss Bertha Lewis will come forward and lay an egg on the altar. You know, it's ceremonial. She's just going to place an egg up there. It's not like a big deal. All right, welcome to Sports and Other Stuff. Here's our first headline. Duke star forward Kyle Filipowski was injured this week after Wake Forest students stormed the court following the Demon Deacons' 83-79 upset win over number 8 Duke. The incident has heightened concerns over court storming in college basketball. So the question is, do storm the court or not storm the court? I think Shakespeare wrote that famous question, didn't he, Lugs? And Lugs, I'm guessing in your day, you stormed a court or two. Yes? What do you think?
Once, yeah, at the Duke-Carolina game.
There you go.
Sure.
I knew it.
Well, I got to say this about that.
Please.
Usually when you storm the court, you're the underdog and you beat somebody.
Yeah.
Wake Forest was favored in that game, and they more than covered the spread. So you got, okay, it's Duke, and they don't often beat Duke. I kind of get that. But in the end, for me, hey, you're not going to stop that unless you put, make it like a wrestling match and put cage wire around the court or something. You're not going to stop that.
Cage match.
And that's the first time I've seen anybody get hurt from storming the court. And actually, obviously I don't like the Dukies much, but, he kind of elbowed the one guy and he sort of initiated the contact. So, Dog, you're a more, let's say, objective observer.
I'm more objective.
What does that mean?
Yeah, because I don't have any, I guess.
What does that even mean?
True animosity. Because I don't have true animosity towards Blue Devils. As our friend Lugs, he is from Tobacco Road. But I kind of agree with Lugs. It's funny. A guy finally gets injured, and not to say, it is. I believe at least in the SEC, it is a penalty. I don't know if it's a penalty in other leagues to rush the court. You get fined in the SEC for storming the field or court.
But does the money even matter? I mean, who's paying it anyway? And let's be fair. Like, the kids running the court don't have to worry about it. Like, they're just going back to the dorm.
Well, and also, I don't care what anyone says. Kind of like I think Lugs alluded to too. You can get so much security. Like, it's thousands versus like maybe like 50 people. Like, if you even got 50 people around the court just to do security.
And we've seen the people who wear the shirts that say security on the back in arenas. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Some of them are very nice people. Most of them are not going to stop a mob.
No.
I don't know of anyone who can really stop a mob.
No.
I don't know. Like, do you equip the people around it with like pepper spray and just spray someone to make an example of? Is like, just don't think about it. I don't know. I mean, that would seem like it would cause even a bigger corruption and stir. So
and lawsuits aplenty.
Oh my
right
gosh!
now.
Can you imagine?
Yes.
Can you imagine?
So, my favorite is just seeing it on the morning shows and being like one of the anchors being like, they got to get rid of it. They got to get rid of it. Again, like we're saying, good luck getting rid of it. Like, if thousands, or hundreds of like students from a school want to go on the court, they're going on the court. Now, maybe the way to think about it is if a team upsets another team, there should be a protocol done by the team that just lost on like how to get off the court quickly when people are running on the court.
Well, I heard that.
I don't know.
For the last 3 minutes, put your scrubs in if you're winning by a lot, and let the scrubs take the hit. Well, what kind of deal is that if you're a number?
Oh, I wasn't saying getting the scrubs in. No, just have a protocol in terms of like, stand with the players in the middle and have like coaches surround them, and just stay.
Or just stay in your seats. Just stay in your seats.
Yeah,
Yeah. Let's get that yellow caution tape, the three of us, and see what we can do with that.
No, I like
on the end line,
and also, you know what? College sports are such a mess anyway. Just let there be chaos. That's what I want. Let there be chaos.
We want it. WWE, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I want Nero on top of his castle as Rome Burns. That's what I want from the NCAA. I'm all for it. Again, Lux thought I was the objective. No, I have a bias against NCAA overall. So I want it to burn.
Well, I just want to make one comment here.
Yeah.
The security guys at those games, the only thing they keep secure is the cooler with the beer. That's about it. I mean, they're just standing there. That's it. So.
Plus, I was going to say they might be able to throw flashlight batteries at you, but flashlights don't even come with batteries anymore. They're rechargeable, so they can't even do that.
Hey.
Well, now you're talking like West Virginia. They throw 9-volt batteries at people.
Oh, that's right.
Football games.
That's right.
I will defend the security on this. Hey,
yeah, I agree. Let's not rip them.
Those are hardworking people.
I agree.
This is a supplemental income for them.
Yep.
And considering they're not getting paid a lot to stand on their feet for hours on end, it's not right to think, oh, you need to take all these people down. It's like they're not getting paid enough. Like they're just trying to make ends meet. Let's be fair to them.
Plus, in the modern day arena, most of them have to sit in chairs courtside, looking at the crowd, not even at the game.
Yeah,
and I agree. We should give those people all the respect and love they deserve because it's a hard job, doesn't pay much, and for many of them, you're right. It's a moonlighting job, probably a night job.
Yeah. So,
well, we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, let's stay off those guys and women. So like they got it hard enough. Well, I'm just saying like that's not fair to pile on those people.
I agree.
Who's piling on? We're just pointing out some of the little idiosyncrasies that go on in sport.
Yeah, I will at least agree with you on this. Like most of them, if a situation got out of hand, most of them aren't going to be able to do anything anyway. They're just there to help point out, I guess. Cops, if someone is like acting out, they can point out and be like, hey, cops, go into that section. I don't know.
But in a hero sense, how many times a year do we see somebody charge the court on their own and some security guy takes them out clean, right? And, at mid-court. I mean, it happens all the time.
I've seen that at football games.
Yeah,
I haven't
football
seen
games.
that at basketball games, but I have seen them.
And baseball. I've seen it in baseball, too, where a guy tries to run the bases, takes his shirt off or whatever. First guy on the field takes him out clean, like a track star.
See, the football security guys are usually ex-football players, and they want to hit somebody.
Well, and that's what. So we're saying security should be like a company softball teams. There should be at least like 1 or 2 ringers. Everyone else can kind of fill it out,
right?
But like you need at least 2 ringers that can really kind of put the oomph, put the fear of flight and not wanting to fight with these people. So
yeah, ours was a former Marine softball third baseman, Ron Wilson. Killer. Yeah, he was a ringer, man, did not look like a player. He smoked, didn't matter. Home run. He was our guy, Ronnie. Yep, loved him. All right, so let's move on. It's NFL Combine Week. First established, by the way, in 1982. This is it. The football world turns its attention to Lucas Oil Stadium in downtown Indianapolis, Indiana. But here's the story. At least 5 head coaches will not be attending, and some athletes, like the presumptive number 1 overall pick, quarterback Caleb Williams, will not work out there, but rather work out on his own in his personal workout days somewhere near campus or his hometown. Fellas, what do you expect? What do you think? And is it still a going concern, the Combine?
Well, I think it's an opportunity for some folks, but I think initially the story, to me, 2 top stories as we're waiting for the coaches to make their statements is what happens to Justin Fields and where Russell Wilson ends up.
Good point.
I saw the GM of Chicago basically say they're going to try to get a deal done for Fields as quick as they can. And the latest thing I saw was that they're planning to keep Russell Wilson in Denver. I can't believe that because obviously Sean Payton wants to move on, but we'll see. Personally, I think Russell Wilson, Atlanta maybe, and if Minnesota decides to offload Cousins, I'm thinking, well, the prevailing thought is he'll go to Pittsburgh, which would be good for him. So, but those are my initial takes as far as that goes. We can get back to the actual college guys who are there to show their skill.
You're saying those dominoes need to fall first?
Well, I mean, they'll still go on with the events and everything. I'm just saying that the big buzz is around what's going to happen in those areas.
Good point. Yep. T-Dog.
Yeah. I would like what Lugs kind of hit on. I think the Ryan Poles, Bears GM, he said before, and again, I do think they do love Fields and they like Fields a lot, but I mean, let's not get it twisted. It does come down to business. He wants to trade him before free agency starts because again, that'll free up some extra cap that they can use possibly. I mean, they already cut Eddie Jackson and they cut Cody Whitehair. That opened up, I believe, around 20 million extra dollars for free agency. There's some good players that are going to be out there. Some of them will get tagged. Some of them will be restricted. I'm sure Bears aren't going to really try to touch any of those really for the most part. But, I think they will probably use their franchise tag of their own on Jalen Johnson, their corner. But I do think they want to get Justin Fields. And it feels like if I was to guess, I would guess Atlanta or the Patriots. Maybe the Patriots decide not to go with a quarterback at 3 and maybe take Marvin Harrison or, an offensive tackle at that third spot. It sounded like he was going to go to the Steelers, and we can talk about this on the back end. They a well-respected reporter cued in. He said they're going to give Kenny Pickett another shot or maybe Mason Rudolph a shot. And again, I like Mike Tomlin, but people that are diehard Steelers fans, this is what drives him crazy is he's loyal to a fault that I think might end up upending him. Is he stayed with Matt Canada when everyone knew Matt Canada was not the guy to lead their offense. And, Kenny Pickett, I'm not saying maybe down the road he might become a solid backup or whatever, but like Kenny Pickett, I think we already know he's not going to be a long-term guy. Not to say Fields will be their long-term solution, but at least you see still potential for a high upside in Justin Fields. Like, why are we sticking with Kenny Pickett? Why are you going to waste another high-value year of T.J. Watt and, Minkah Fitzpatrick and all these other talented guys who are only going to get older, going to become more injury-prone? You're wasting their best years with a bum at quarterback. That aside, the Russell Wilson thing, I agree with Lugs. I don't see how he stays on there because clearly – I don't know how personal it got. I mean, Russell Wilson sold his house in Denver. I mean, maybe he stays at a very nice hotel the whole year, but I don't see that.
He rents those ones by the week, those weekly rates. You've seen him. That's what he does.
Yeah,
he does that stuff. Yeah.
So,
Good old Russ.
And also, I don't know how much of a market's going to be there. I mean, look, Sean Payton has always been a well-respected offensive coach. I know he's prickly. And look, Russell played fine, but it was just adequate. And that was Sean Payton just getting adequacy out of you. So, who's really going to buy him? It feels like they're almost going to have to, if they want to offload him, they're going to have to do the Rams to the Lions trade where they essentially give up 2 number ones just to have someone take on the money. And, at least with the Lions, it worked out for the Lions. Jared Goff, who it looked like he was a throw-in. And then, they had to give the Lions an extra, first round pick because they were going to take on his money. It worked out for the Lions. Jared Goff's had a resurgence and whatnot. I don't see that with Russell. Russell's clearly declining. He's not going to all of a sudden turn it around. And I believe there's possibly like an $80+ dead cap hit if they cut him during this year.
Yeah, it's like $85 million.
Yeah, so I think they're just going to have to bite it and just endure being bad this year. I think that's the only thing they can do because I think they don't want to give up those draft picks because they can maybe package them and trade up to get maybe J.J. McCarthy or Jaden Daniels at quarterback because they clearly want to try to get their quarterback in this year's draft. So, but here's the other one. I'll spin it the other way for you. Do they maybe try to get into the Kirk Cousins market?
It's possible.
Can they?
Well, Kirk's a free agent.
Right.
So
Yeah, but all the dead money with Russell Wilson, do they have enough money to pay what Kurt is going to get paid? Is what I'm saying.
What do you think? That's about 30.
The Walton family can eat $85 million like that.
But there's a hard cap though.
Correct.
So I don't. I know they have more money than anybody, but I mean, it's
what I'm saying is, if you really want Kirk Cousins, you do a $20 million 1-year deal, and then you slide him another $30 million on the side. You don't have to declare all that, do you? Come on.
Lugs, this is not Alabama football, my friend. This is not the Crimson Tide. This is the National Football League. Respect the Shield. Yeah, Cousins, what do you think he'll get? 20 to 30? 30, I'm thinking. What do you guys think?
Oh, at least. I mean, he's a full-time starter. I mean, I bang on Kirk Cousins, but he's like an A- quarterback that really could go anywhere. If he's lucky enough to go to, say, Pittsburgh, they got some young receivers. They've got a decent offensive line. And the defense, of course, will be, because that's what Tomlin cares about is that defense. Although this past couple of years, they've not been that killer defense that they've always had. So, yeah, it's just crazy every year what we seem to go through with the quarterback
it's
carousel.
True. It's amazing. And then here it is. It's, February, and we're talking about this.
2 weeks after the Super Bowl.
It's crazy. Crazy.
And I think we keyed in on like two of the biggest names. I just hope Fields and Kirk Cousins, if they, particularly Cousins, if he doesn't end up with Minnesota again, like I hope he goes to like the Steelers or Atlanta, and Fields to one of those teams too, because like I think those are teams that if they just get a quarterback with some juice, they can maybe get in the mix. I'm not going to say they're going to be contenders for the title, but they'll at least be in that contention where
could win a division, right?
I think there's interest in both those guys. Like Russell Wilson, though, I mean, look, and I've been a fan of Russell Wilson for a long time. At this point in where he is in his career, I don't know who's going to be willing to pay him, who's going to be willing to maybe trade for him. Even when he's on the scrap heap, who's going to be willing to really pick him up? Because there's at least 4 probably starters early on in this year's draft. How many openings really are there?
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk more.
It's kind of sad when I was just going to quickly say about Russell Wilson. 3 years ago, we all probably would have thought he was a first-round Hall of Famer. Now, I'm not sure. He has to go to a team, and he said this week he wanted to win 2 more Super Bowls. It's like, dude, how about you have an adequate season?
He said something like, "I have 5 years left, and I want to win 2 Super Bowls in those 5 years." What? Excuse me.
So
That
recreational marijuana sure does flow in Colorado, I guess. Man.
Gummies. I think he's a gummy kind of a guy.
Well, I mean, he could win 2 more Super Bowls, but he's just gonna. I mean, this is hard for me to say on him. He's just gonna have to bite the reality. Those 2 Super Bowls, he's gonna be backing up someone.
Oh, all right. That's a good way to end that segment. We're going to come back, talk a little more draft. But first, Lugs, Little Sports of Yesteryear. You ready? Here we go.
Yes, sir.
Here we go. It's Sports of Yesteryear. It's our Wayback Machine. We send way, way, way back to 1980 and the Miracle on Ice, or somewhere back there. Some Olympic news. Who knows? It's Lugs. He's here now. Go, Lugs, go.
All right, 1936, Dutch swimmer Willie den Ouden sets new women's world record in the 100-meter freestyle at 1 minute, 4.6 seconds. That record lasts 22 years until it's broken in 1956 by Dawn Fraser of Australia. 1959, Boston Celtic Bob Cousy sets NBA record with 28 assists as the Celtics score 173 points against the Minneapolis Lakers. That's right, that's where they started.
Exactly.
1966, 8th Daytona 500 pole sitter Richard Petty comes from 2 laps down to win the event as the race was called at 198 lap because of rain. 1984, U.S. super athlete Carl Lewis sets a world record indoor long jump of 28.5 feet. And finally, 1988, Bonnie Blair of the U.S. wins Olympic 500-meter speed skating gold in a record 39.1 seconds. That's it for this edition of Sports of Yesteryear.
Thank you, Lugs. Okay, yeah, I mean, has anybody realized there are no lakes in Los Angeles? That doesn't make sense that the Los Angeles Lakers, yes, they started in the land of 10,000 lakes, also known as the land of Kirk Cousins and Minnesota. I mean, it's like the Utah Jazz. What? Is there any jazz in Utah?
Rarely.
Not after curfew, anyway. Okay, yeah, right. Okay, other notes. We've got about, 13 minutes or so. More notes on the, go ahead, yeah, the combine
I was just going to say,
interesting.
let's talk a little bit of the quarterbacks.
Yep.
Drake May, Penix, Bo Nix.
JJ.
J.J. McCarthy. I think personally for me, McCarthy's the weakest. I haven't seen anything from him. Of course, in that offense, all he had to do is hand the ball to Corum. But anyway, I think Penix and probably Bo Nix will be the ones that actually do something in the NFL. But Penix has to get past all those questions about his knees and his shoulder and all of that. But throws a beautiful ball, is on time and on target. So I'm holding out hope for him. And supposedly Drake May, people are starting to say he's not as athletic as he should be. It's like, get out.
What?
Yeah, a couple of guys, Jay Williams and another guy on ESPN, they were saying, he's not really that athletic. And I'm just looking at him and I'm thinking, you never saw the guy play. You couldn't have.
Wait a minute. Didn't he run for over 800 yards last year?
Oh yeah.
Okay, this is absolutely stupid.
That's somebody going for a hot take. That's
Hot take.
Well, yeah, again, like a hot take where where what was it? Sheryl Swoop got embarrassed when she said Caitlin Clark. Yeah, they're doing that type of hot take. The hot take you don't want to do.
Clickbait.
Colin Cowherd clickbait where he said Sean Taylor got killed because he hung out with bad people and it was just kids that broke into his house. Had no association with them.
Right.
Just ill-informed hot take. That's what that is.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss. Right.
Look, I like Caleb Williams over Drake May, but if the Bears were able to trade out of the first pick and get the second pick of Drake May, I like both those guys. I think they're the top two, and I even like Jaden Daniels a lot. I think all of them are really intriguing. Obviously, history and history says they don't all work out, but at least from here, I think they all have a chance to be really good. And the whole that's a bizarre thing to say about Drake May. He's maybe not as athletic as Herbert, but he gets mentioned with Herbert because he has a lot of similarities to Herbert. Herbert's a very athletic guy. He had I believe 2 years ago, he had 97 yards rushing against the Steelers, and it's legit. So,
but isn't this a career-ending or favoring decision by whoever picks that first pick and gets it wrong?
Caleb Williams, there's going to be a lot on his shoulders if, in fact, he does go to Chicago. Yeah. And Chicago virtually has to pick him. They've whiffed on
Yeah.
every quarterback thus far in the past.
Sid
century.
Luckman. Yes, that's right.
So they have to go for him. But there's going to be a lot on that kid, and they need to get themselves a receiver. I don't know how they do it, but they desperately need that, and a running back if they can.
Well, there's a chance because of how JJ will probably test out, and more importantly, it sounds like how everyone thinks he'll be interviewed. That he will be, someone will trade up, probably ahead of the Bears, the 8th or 9th pick to get JJ. So that'll be 4 quarterbacks. Then maybe leaves open Rome Odunze, the wide receiver from Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can match up Rome Odunze with DJ Moore,
Yep.
with Caleb Williams, now we're talking about something.
Yep.
I don't know if it will happen because, again, Rome Odunze, he's going to be 6'3", and I think he's around 217. Maybe he's going to be a little lighter at the combine because it sounds like there's a possibility at that height he might run at 4.4. And if he runs at 4.4, I don't know if he gets to 9 where the Bears are. The Bears might have to trade up from the 9th pick just to get Romeo Odunze because Marvin Williams, or Marvin Harrison, who's not going to test at all, I think, and not even at his pro day, he's not going to fall beyond probably 4. And Malik Neighbors from LSU, he's probably going right after Marvin Harrison. That's how special those two guys are. And Romeo Odunze is probably not going to fall that far after them. So, and not to say there aren't other good receivers in this class. It is a good receiver class. It's a good tackle class, offensive tackle class. But if they want one of those truly guys who look special coming out of college, the Bears are probably going to maybe have to trade up, or they're just going to have to pray that teams get really desperate quarterbacks, which always happens.
Well, and I think tight end wise, if Bowers from Georgia would be a good mix for those guys as well. But that he probably won't go until second round, maybe top of the third.
I think Bowers goes in the first round, but yes. To be fair to your point, the where you might be right is he's a lot lighter than most tight ends. It sounds like a lot of people think he's going to weigh in around 235. And obviously he can bulk up. I think he's got the frame to bulk up, but he is, and he's not that particularly tall either. So he would be, like a flex tight end, where he's mainly used as it's kind of unfair to look at him as a tight end. He honestly is a weapon or a receiver if he's used correctly by a team. The unfortunate thing is, even though tight ends are used better in the pros, they still aren't probably as utilized as well as they should be. Again, this is no disrespect to Travis Kelce, but one thing that really helps Travis Kelce is he is in an offense where he is properly utilized for his athletic ability. But where I blow back on him is we see on Sundays, certain highlights, there's plenty of guys as athletic, if not more athletic than Travis Kelce, that just aren't utilized because their offense just decides not to emphasize them. So,
yeah, I was just looking at the running back situation too. You've got some decent running backs coming out, but the way running back stock has fallen with the NFL in the past couple of years, those guys are like third-round picks, even if they're good. So I think Corum, maybe he could end up at San Diego and be back with his buddy Jim Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh.
So, and the guy from Braylon from Wisconsin, I think he's a good running back too, but he has
Braylon Allen.
Yeah, he has to show real well at the combine.
Yeah, I think the one that's intriguing to me is Jalen Wright from Tennessee. He's going to test out of the gym, but to be fair to your point, I don't know if he had as good as tape as Blake Corum. Again, Blake Corum, I think tape-wise was probably the most impressive running back out of this group. But I agree with you in terms of this is good running back group, but there's so many good running backs coming out that they probably maybe the first one gets taken late second round, and then probably maybe a few get taken in the third round, and probably a decent amount of them taken in the fourth round, and they all can end up being starters because I think they're all good. There's no like superstar in this bunch, but like, you know, again, running back is get in the right system, you know, and get behind the right line, and you can be a juggernaut. So.
All right. Anything else for this program? We got about 2 minutes left here. USFL, formerly XFL, formerly now what is it called? The UFL? Do I have that right?
Yes.
United Football Leagues.
Oofle.
Is that oofle or is that going to be awful? T-Dog, the Battlehawks are a team, my friend. St. Louis is alive and well with professional football once again.
You know, they call the Battlehawks, but they should be called the Phoenixes because they've died and been reborn at least twice now. So I'm just happy they kept one of the cooler names in all the league. You know, we got I mean, look, in comparison, here's all the other ones. Like the Brahmas is probably the second interesting, but then you have like just completely generic names like the Defenders, Renegades, Stallions,
Showboats,
Panthers,
lame stuff.
I don't know. I like Roughnecks. I guess so.
like
Yeah,
that.
those are the three names I like: Roughnecks, Brahmas, and Battlehawks.
You know, when they come up with these names, they don't think of the logos or the mascots. A showboat, that's just going to be like a wooden wheel paddle boat, right? That's like 1900
I don't know. It
technology.
could be a speedboat if you want to go there, but
Yeah, I guess it could be a jet boat.
it's marketing, young man, marketing.
Go west, young man. Go west. Well, we'll see what happens. I might tune in. You guys going to watch? Why not?
I'll give it a watch. Also, to be fair to your point, J Boy, the thing that makes it confusing is the divisions or the conferences are USFL conference, XFL conference. So they still retain the names in some capacity.
Is that kind of like when the Big Ten was Legends and what was it? Legends and something else? Leaders. Yeah, give me a break.
Trust me. Actually, to be fair to UFL, their situation's much better than that. That was just ridiculous. That was like the dumbest thing. It's like we don't want to do East and West because why would we do something that's easier to understand?
It's been around since this country was formed. Why go off of that? I don't know.
I don't know.
All right, well, let's close this episode of Sports and Other Stuff, brought to you in part by Big Top TV. That's the big screen store. They bring us 90-inch flat screen TVs right here on this set. So shield your eyes, stop in and ask for our guy. He's there tonight. I forgot his name. His name is
Fish. And this week, the Dapper Dan of Sunset Village is waxing nostalgic for a beauty from Hollywood's heyday. She was nominated for an Oscar 4 years in a row and was married to Richard Burton twice. We're talking about Elizabeth Taylor, of course. Did you know that she was actually British by birth? I didn't. Come on down 1 p.m. for more surprising facts as we mark the birth of the Cleopatra of Beverly Hills. Admission is $20 and includes showings of Miss Taylor's classics, National Velvet, Butterfield 8, and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. Liz's number 8 husband, Larry Fortensky, will be there to add color to the situation. So come on down.
Thanks, Slugs. You know, well, pretty soon we get to go into that True TV program schedule when it's March Madness. We can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can. Well, until next time, we're the Sport Weasels. First in sound, first in service, and first in sports. We'll see you next time. So long.